We are joined now by Congressman Eric Sorensen. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Good to be with you, Shelby.
All right, break this down. What does this kind of disaster proclamation even mean for farmers in these counties?
Yeah, well, what we've seen here just in the past year is a drought that had lasting impacts, and it had impacts on the yields for our farmers going into harvest. And so it was important that not only we get the designation, but then I led a letter with all of us in the Illinois delegation in Congress to be able to get that to the Secretary of Agriculture to make sure that we could get the disaster declaration, which then fast tracks the assistance that's needed, especially for our family farmers.
So, essentially, in broad strokes, someone who was impacted by the drought this summer could apply to help get relief from the government. You have until mid April to apply. I mean, what kind of help could farmers expect to get from this?
Yeah, what we need to make sure that farmers have is the ability to continue to do their jobs. So think about it this way. All right, a drought happens, the yield goes down, there is a lot less profitability. So then you're using your savings to come through and supplement where you were last year, right? The problem that we have is, especially for our producers, is that could impact the ability to be successful into the next season. And so the USDA will then provide our farmers and our producers with some supplemental, which is going to help. Shelby, one of the things that I hear from producers and family farmers in our area is they want a better safety net of crop insurance.
I wanted to ask you about one particular word in the drought disaster proclamation. It talks about the four counties, and then it also talks about possible contiguous counties. So, is there a possibility for someone, in a bordering county of Mercer County to apply for this?
Yeah, certainly. And what we need people to be able to do is apply, and then we look at the individual cases. So even though it is on paper as for the outlying areas will be covered too.
Before I let you go, you
Yeah.
talked about farm bills and crop insurance and what's
Mhm.
next in this fight. As weather continues to get more severe, have you had conversations for the need to up relief efforts like this as droughts get worse?
Right, and we're even seeing that today. When I look out the window and I see rain that's falling this time of year and not snow, what that tells me is the nutrients that we would normally lock up in the soil are going away. Either they're blowing away in the wind or they're going out into the low-lying areas into the streams. We need to make sure that we're locking up the soil carbon. We need to make sure that the nutrients are staying in the soil. And I've introduced legislation here that will help us quantify um, how we're how we're locking that nutrients in. And this is legislation that is bipartisan. And also, I've got senators from Minnesota and Indiana working in the Senate to get this passed so that we can put more data in the hands of farmers so that they can make the best decisions for their farms and their livelihoods.
Certainly an important topic that's only going to become more important, more to the forefront as we move forward. Well, Congressman, thank you so much for chatting today.
Oh, it's great to be with you and Happy New Year.
And again, farmers in the affected areas will have until April to apply. To learn more on how to do so, you can head to our website, WQAD.com, click on the As Seen on TV